Sonny, I have to say, I'm really curious about today's topic. You gave it this very dramatic title: Successful People Are Very Good at Small Talk. I mean, small talk, really? Isn't that just useless conversation?
Two CEOs from rival tech companies were on the verge of a $100 million merger completely falling apart. Lawyers were fighting, egos were bruised. It was a mess.
Okay, you've got my attention.
The two CEOs happened to get into the same elevator after a terrible meeting. Total silence. Awkward. Then, one CEO notices the other's slightly unusual tie. It had little golden retrievers on it. He just said, "Cute tie. Are you a dog person?"
Away, that's what he said?
That's what he said. It turns out they both owned golden retrievers. For the next 30 seconds, they weren't rival CEOs. They were just two guys talking about their goofy, lovable dogs. That tiny moment of connection, of small talk, broke the tension. They agreed to have one more coffee, and that conversation saved the deal. And that incredible moment of connection all started with a bit of small talk. Welcome to Sunny English Bite, the show for bright English learners. I'm your host, Sunny.
And I'm Alex. That's a wild story, Sonny. So you're saying the key to a $100 million deal was a comment about a dog-themed tie?
Exactly. It was about finding common ground. And that's what we're talking about today, Sunnies. We're going to reframe small talk. It's not meaningless. It's the beginning of meaning. It's a skill, a powerful tool that successful people use to build trust and create massive opportunities.
All right, chapter one then. Why does it matter so much, beyond saving million-dollar deals in elevators, for, normal people like us?
For normal people, it's about building what social scientists call social capital. Think of it like a bank account of trust and connection. Every piece of positive small talk is a small deposit into that account.
Social capital. I like that.
It's the foundation of all relationships, professional and personal. When you share a laugh about the terrible coffee in the break room or the crazy weather, you're not just talking about coffee or weather. You're saying, "I see you. We share this small experience. We're on the same team." It makes people feel comfortable with you.
Right, it's a low-risk way to test the waters with someone, to see if there's a connection there without diving into a super deep topic.
Precisely. And for English learners, it's the single best way to practice speaking in a low-pressure situation. Cashiers, baristas, people at the bus stop, they are all potential practice partners.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's get practical. Chapter 2. How do successful people actually do this? Is there a strategy, or are they just naturally charming?
It's a mix, but the strategy is something anyone can learn. They are masters of the gentle opener. They don't walk up and say, "Tell me your life story." They use observations about their shared environment or situation.
Like the dog tie.
Yes, let's break down some great natural-sounding openers. A really effective one is based on observation. For example, if you're at a conference, you could say to the person next to you, "This is a great turnout, isn't it? Have you been to this conference before?"
Oh, I like that. It's open-ended. It requires more than a yes or no answer.
Exactly. Another one is a genuine compliment, not "you're so beautiful," which can be awkward, but something specific. "That's a really cool laptop bag. I've been looking for one like that."
Right, because it opens a door for them to tell a story. Oh, thanks, I got it on this little website. And suddenly, you're in a conversation.
Here's a simple, classic one for any networking event. Just walk up with a smile and say, "Hi, I'm Sunny. I don't think we've had a chance to meet yet." It's polite, direct, and confident.
So the key is to be observant and genuine. It's not about having a list of clever lines.
You've got it. So let's imagine a little dialogue. "Alex, you're waiting in a long line for coffee. I'm in front of you." What could you say?
Okay. I could say, wow, this place is popular this morning. Their coffee must be worth the wait.
Perfect. And I'd reply, "I hope so. It's my first time here. A friend recommended it." See, now the conversation has started. What would you say next? I could
Ask, oh yeah, do you
work
around
around?
here?
And boom, that's a perfect example of successful small talk. It started with a shared observation and moved to a friendly question.
This brings me to our next chapter then, common mistakes. I can imagine a lot of our sunnies are nervous about saying the wrong thing. I know I am sometimes.
It's a very common fear. The number one mistake learners make is turning a conversation into an interrogation.
The rapid fire questions. Where are you from? What do you do? Do you like it? How long have you worked there? It feels like an interrogation.
Yes, remember, a conversation is like a game of tennis. You hit the ball, then they hit it back. You ask a question, and then you share something about yourself. It's a balance of give and take.
Give and take. Okay.
So if you ask, do you work around here? And I say yes, instead of asking another question immediately, you could share something. Like, cool, I just started a job down the street, still trying to find the best coffee spot.
That makes it so much more friendly. It invites the other person to help or comment. What's another common mistake?
Giving dead-end answers. Someone asks you, did you have a good weekend? And you just say, yes.
Ouch. Conversation over.
It's a wall. The person who asked has nowhere to go. Always try to add a little detail. Yes, it was great, thanks. I finally got to check out that new museum downtown. How about you?
You answered, you added a detail, and you passed the ball back to them. Perfect.
This leads us to a key skill, asking good follow-up questions. Instead of just asking why, which can sound a bit aggressive, you can use softer phrases.
Okay, give us some examples.
Let's say I mention I went to a museum. A great follow-up would be, oh, that sounds interesting. What was the highlight for you? Or how did you get into that? This shows you're actually listening and curious.
What was the highlight for you? That's a great question. Much better than just, was it good?
And while they're talking, you need to show you're engaged. This is where polite reactions are crucial. Little phrases like, oh, really? That's fascinating. No way. Or just a simple, mm-hmm.
Right. Active listening. It encourages the person to keep talking.
Exactly. Now for our next chapter, let's talk about how to sound natural, warm, and confident when you're doing all this, because the words are only half the battle.
You mean tone of voice and body language?
Yes, a warm, friendly tone is more important than perfect grammar. Smile when you talk. People can hear a smile in your voice, even on the phone. Keep your body language open. Uncross your arms. Make eye contact and nod to show you're listening.
That's a great tip. Smiling actually changes the sound of your voice.
It does. And to help our Sunnies find topics to talk about, there's a wonderful little acronym, FORD. It stands for Family, Occupation, Recreation, and Dreams.
FORD. Tell me more.
These are 4 safe and universal topics. You can ask, do you have any family in the area for family? For occupation, what do you do for work? Or what keeps you busy these days? For recreation, are you watching any good shows lately? Or do you follow sports?
Okay. Family, occupation, recreation. What's dreams? That one sounds a little intense for small talk.
It's less intense than it sounds. It's about aspirations. You could ask, have you traveled anywhere amazing recently? Or working on any exciting projects outside of your job? It's about what people are passionate about. It's often the door to a much deeper conversation.
That's a fantastic framework. Ford. Easy to remember. But what about ending the conversation? Sometimes that's the most awkward part. You can't just walk away.
Learning to exit gracefully is a superpower. You can use a positive statement followed by a reason for leaving. For example, well, it's been so great chatting with you, but I should probably get back to my team.
Nice and smooth.
Another good one is, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but it was a pleasure to meet you. Or if you want to continue the connection, I have to run, but I'd love to continue this conversation. Are you on LinkedIn?
Those are golden. Sunnies, you might want to write those down.
All right, this brings us to our final chapter. We've talked about the why, the how, the mistakes, and the techniques. Now let's connect it all back to success. How does small talk truly lead to deeper connections and achievements?
The elevator story is a big example, but what about on a smaller scale?
Think about it. The friendly chat with a colleague while making coffee can lead them mentioning a project you'd be perfect for. The small talk with another parent at your kid's school could reveal they work at your dream company.
Opportunity is everywhere, but you can't access it if you don't open your mouth.
Small talk is the key that unlocks those doors. It turns strangers into acquaintances, acquaintances into colleagues, and colleagues into friends or mentors. Every major opportunity in life often starts with a small, seemingly insignificant conversation.
So the big takeaway isn't just about learning phrases, it's about changing your mindset. Seeing small talk not as a chore, but as an opportunity. Before we give our Sunnies their weekly challenge, let's do a quick recap of the key expressions and words from today. A sort of small talk toolkit.
Excellent idea. First, we had gentle openers. These are simple observations to start a chat. For example, this coffee's great, isn't it? Or giving a specific compliment, like, that's a really cool laptop bag.
Next, we talked about the importance of give and take. To avoid dead end answers, always add a little detail and pass the conversation back. So instead of just yes, say, yes, it was great. I went to the beach. How about you?
Then we have follow-up questions. Instead of a simple why, which can sound a bit direct, you can ask, oh, that sounds interesting. What was the highlight for you? It shows you're engaged.
And don't forget how to exit gracefully. You can say something positive like, well, it was great chatting with you, but I should get back to it. It's a polite and clear way to end the conversation.
Exactly. These are your tools. The more you use them, the more natural they will feel. That's the heart of it. So for all our amazing Sunnies listening today, here is your challenge. This week, I want you to initiate one moment of small talk with someone new. A cashier, a meber, someone at the office.
Just one. That's totally doable.
Use an opener we talked about. Make an observation, give a specific compliment, ask a question about their weekend. It doesn't matter if it leads to a long conversation. The goal is just to practice starting, to take that small, brave step.
Because it's a skill, and like any skill, it gets stronger with practice.
Exactly. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present. Be curious about the people around you, and you'll be amazed at the doors that open. That's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for tuning in, Sunnies. We hope this helps you turn every small talk moment into a big opportunity.
If you want to keep improving your English and grow personally, make sure to like and subscribe to the Sunny English Bite channel. Let's grow together.